In the next part of the book, we are told that we have a file with both names and double numbers. So if we were to make a file, we would go into our Eclipse workspace, click new, and text document. Then we would name it something, whatever we want to call it. In the example, they are using a hours. So just call it hours and then open it, and then it'll pop up like this. And then we are just doing things like this. So we have names and then the hours worked as a double. We can control S to save it, press X, grab that file, and then put it in the main package. And click copy to files, and now it will be inside of the package. You can click on it and it appears here. So now we can read this into our program and we can start reading in. So if we want, we could get user input, but just for simplicity, we're going to read in the file ourselves. So we need to make sure we have a throws file not found exception, and then we will have a scanner. We can call this scan and set this equal to new scanner, then new file. And in our new file, we need the name of our file. So we have quotation marks and we have hours dot text because we are using a text file. From here, we can start writing things out. In the book, it uses a method, so we can also use a method. Process scan. And below here, in our class, but outside of our main method, we can write our method. It'll be public static void, because it's not returning anything. It's called process, and it's accepting a scanner as a parameter. Now in here, we are going to see what's a string and what's a double. So we'll have while input dot, not input, but while scan dot has next. This is going to run as long as there is another token inside of our scanner or inside of our file. And in here, we are going to create a name that will hold the name. We'll set name equal to input dot next, like this. So this should be scan, since I have a different word. So string name is scan.next. So the name, if this reads in the first time, it's going to store Erica because it'll store the name. Now we have to store the amount of doubles we have. So after our name, we will have a while loop, and this while loop will be scan dot has next double, and this is going to run as long as there are more doubles in here. Once it doesn't have any more doubles, it will break out of this loop, go back to this main loop, and go over again in the next line. So while scan dot has next double, we can add all of these hours together, and we'll do sum plus equals scan dot next double to get the doubles. So every time this runs, we are going to get a double. We need to initialize sum, so we can go double sum and initialize this to 0.0. So after we have our sum, and then we have this while loop, we need to print out the name and the total of hours worked. So we'll have a system.out.println. So we will put the string total hours worked by, and then we will also have the name of the person. So we'll do name, and then we will have an equal sign, and then we will have the sum. That way it will have the total of hours worked by this person, and we can really cut this and paste this in our while loop because we're only using it in here. We're not using it outside of this main while loop. And that'll be the end of this method. So if we run this, it will print everything out. That is the output. If we were to go in here and change any of these values, it would be updated, and we would run it again, and it would give us a new time or new name of person. So this is the code that will give us this output. We're reading in a file, putting it into a method, but we could also just put this code in our main method. We're just doing this for practice or simplicity. And then we have a scan next. So it first scans the name, and then after it scans the initial name, it will scan all of the doubles, no matter how many there are, and add them all together. Then it will print out the total hours worked by, the current name, and the current sum of the hours worked.